What's up, guys? What is up? Welcome back to another episode of Deck Talk Podcast. Boy, we've got one heck of a show we're going to have tonight, and been looking forward to this show for a while because we've got a good friend of the podcast and on here, and we're going to talk about some fishing in the Everglades, down in Holiday Park and stuff. We're going to talk about some largemouth, talk about some peacock bass, and we're going to kind of dig into that. But guys, oh crap,
Uh oh.
I forgot to turn one of the things off that I was watching the live chat. Sorry, guys, but we're let's take care of some business, and we are going to. We want to talk about some bruiser baits. If you are looking for some baits that are going to put fish into the boat, with it being soft plastic or hard plastics, we've been using the Super Swimmer Juniors on some swim baits and as well as the big sticks. And we have been putting fish here on Chickamauga left and right and just having a field day. Make sure you go check them out at bruiserbaits.com. Use discount code DECKTALK10 and go grab you some bruiser baits. But with that being said, I'm Colin Burnett.
And I'm Pappy J. What up, my fellow Americans? What's up? What's up? Hey guys, we got a good one tonight, baby. We got a real good. Our salute to valor is brought to you by Waze Energy. Waze Energy is a huge supporter for our men and women in uniform, and they do a huge job for them. I mean, it's veteran owned, veteran ran. Everybody in there, they really love and support our men and women in uniform, and right now that's what we so desirably want to do. But our special guest for tonight is Lieutenant John T. Burnett, the last name coalition with our great host Colin Burnett. It's his grandpappy. Well, not grandpappy, granddaddy, something like that. He goes
You're good.
with the Third Army Air Corps. He was a navigator on a B-25 at Aleutian Islands from 47 to 50. And Colin, if I'm not mistaken, that might be our first, I'm pretty sure he is our first World War II veteran on the show.
I'm I'm pretty
I'm
sure that
almost
he
certain.
is. If he's either the first or the second, I'm not for sure, but I'm thinking that he is the first. So
I'm thinking so too. But anyways, hey, thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We thank all of our men and women in uniform. And again, remember our current men and women that are serving in today's finest military that there is globally. So, hey, we really appreciate you guys out there. Thank you again.
yeah, yeah, and we want to also keep in prayer of our men and women in service, um, because some of them may be home and some of them may not be home, and so we want to be able to keep them in our thoughts and prayers to keep them safe. And but we do thank you, and and that was one reason why we wanted Neil to come on, because he also does something that is phenomenal, and with fishing with America's Finest. And so, with that being said, we've got Captain Neal Starks. Brother, can you tell us a little bit about fishing with America's Finest? Like, how long have you been going with it, and um, how and what is the purpose of fishing with America's Finest?
Sure. First off, good evening, folks. Captain Neal Stark, founder of Fish One America's Finest. Fish One America's Finest was established 20 years ago as a way to reduce the number 22. It's traveled all over the United States fishing and all over the world, actually. And no matter where I was, I noticed that folks just seemed to really chill out when they were fishing, regardless of what language they spoke or what they were doing or whether we were able to communicate. We all had big smiles on our face, and we were able to relax. And in 2007, I came up with the idea. I was reading this article that we were losing 22 Americans a day, and I was sitting there. I picked up my cell phone at the time, and I literally clicked on the calculator, and I was blown away by that number. It was 8,064 Americans a year,
Wow.
and I was like, "How is nobody talking about that?" We were losing more Americans per year than we did in 10 years of conflict in Iraq and Afghanistan, and I
Mm.
was like, it just blew me away that something like that could be taking place, and you didn't see it in any papers or you didn't hear about it. You know,
Yeah.
folks
No.
weren't talking about it. So I came up with the idea. I wanted to take out some vets and see if it had the same effect that it did on me
Hmm.
and other folks that I had seen and experienced, in my travels of fishing. And the results were unbelievable. Originally, I started, on my personal boat, just taking a vet here and there, and I started to set up, my nonprofit. I decided I wanted to do it full time, and when I first went to set it up, uh, the state uh, asked me a crazy question. They asked me what branch of service that I want to take out fishing and what era of that. And
Right.
I said, well, is that a stipulation or how does that work? And they said, no, you can't take care of them all. And I said, well, I sure would like to try. And so when I established Fishing with America's Finest, uh, we made it veterans of all eras and of every branch. And I heard you talking about your grandpappy, and um, I've had hundreds of World War II vets out. I had a World War II veteran that fished with me for years, and he started when he was 102, believe it or not,
Oh,
and
wow.
he fished with me till he was 105 years old. Uh, his name was Tony. He was United States Army. He stormed Normandy Beach. And, Tony had just passed this year, but it was crazy. He would drive me crazy to go fishing, and um, unfortunately, regardless of what era or what age, um, all of our vets experienced similar war-related issues.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
but yeah, we've been going for 20 years now. We won a very prestigious the Life Changer Award for the state here for over 5,000 credited rehabilitation and trips. That was in 2019. We're in 2026. We do 6 huge events every year where we uh, starting with Veterans Day. We do a Family Day, which is one of my favorites. All of our events are set up kind of like a carnival type setting. Bounce houses, cotton candy, popcorn, and all kinds of different events going on. But of course, we always build our events around fishing. We do a huge shoreline fishing uh, tournament with anywhere from 100 to 200 participants. We do 6 of those a year. And then we do a lot of smaller events, what we consider smaller, which is 50 to 100 vets per event. Uh, been I've worked with Bass Pro as their pro staff and an educator for 20 years, and uh, I have the honor of fishing in uh, Dania, Florida. There's a Bass Pro and there's an IGFA, and there's a lake between the two of them, and they let us utilize that. And we do some really awesome events there as well. And then we do our weekly events where that's where we do more of our personal stuff.
Hmm.
We usually will work with anywhere from 3 to 6 vets at a time, and then we also do a one-on-one type of deal where um, we have vets that um, need that type of attention.
Now,
Well,
over the past 20 years that you've been taking our heroes out, our vets and stuff, what is what's the one thing that you've noticed that really kind of stands out? I guess really easing their mind, I guess would probably be one of them, maybe.
that's a great question, Pappy. I've had the vets actually talk about it themselves.
Yeah.
They're not in a room. They're
Hmm.
not, they're not in a little room, gray room. Nobody's sitting there behind a desk with a computer typing on it as they talk. We're out in nature,
Hmm.
and our trips, though you know, it is a fishing therapy program. It's not sold as that. We talk about, hey, we're going fishing,
Right.
and it's out in a fishing environment in the peaceful setting of the Florida Everglades. There's beautiful plant life and wildlife, and it's in that setting that we start fishing and we start talking.
Yeah.
Nobody's probed. We just start talking, and I call it opening the window. Um, I feel like God has blessed me with the ability to be able to communicate. He's given me different types of things to say. I'll often say, uh, are you married? And a lot of times, they say, yeah, I'm married, but right now, you know, things ain't going too good because um, for folks that haven't served, and if you don't know, um, usually the time between combat and civilization when they come back, the reentry period is only a few weeks.
Yeah.
um, they count your fingers and they count everything and give you a little check over. And if you're in good health, you're back into society. So in a 2 weeks ago, you're in a battlefield, and 2 weeks later, moms want you to pick the kids up from soccer or what have you. And for a lot of our men and women, that's a really hard transition. And that's where the deck of our boats come in. We use that deck to help our U.S. veterans to transition. Um, a lot of times they get home, and it's really hard for them to communicate with their family members, their spouses, and this goes for both men and women. And
Hmm.
um, like I was saying, hey, are you married? And yeah, but things ain't going too good. And I'll say, yeah, I get that. I was married, and marriage is a lot like fishing. And I
Yeah.
don't say another word. It usually takes about 30 seconds or so. And they say, hey, Cap, that's the weirdest analogy I ever heard. You know, how is fishing
Hmm.
like marriage? And I
Yeah.
said, well, some days you can go out and everything's perfect. Every cast you're catching a fish. The next day you can do the same thing you did the day before, and it just ain't working. You know.
You got that right. Yeah.
Do you go? I tell them, but do you go back and get rid of all your rods and reels and sell your boat? No.
Mm-mm.
You get out there another day and you keep casting, and before you know it, you got a good day going. And
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many vets have called and said, I went home and I called the missus and we talked about it. We decided we're just going to keep casting.
Yeah. Well, that's a perfect analogy of that as well. The marrying the fishing and the marriage. Because I tell you, Captain, when I got back, my transition wasn't smooth. I mean, I thought it was, but it really wasn't. I mean, I the chaos in the military, there's a lot of chaos going on. But then when you've been in a zone for 12 months and then you have to come back to captivity and yeah, I guess go through life, from a very high stressful event that you've dealt with to back to this. It took me a while to transition back into being a husband, a dad, and so on and so forth, a civilian. It wasn't the smoothest for me, and I had a hard time, and so I y- y- I don't know it, and it, there's you see a lot of people that you see a lot of people that a lot of soldiers they never transition, and it's so sad, man, because it I don't know if it's not the lack of trying or anything like that. It's just that mental part of it that just really weighs in on them. Do I miss it? Absolutely. Just the camaraderie, being with my buddies and stuff like that. But I mean, I also missed home too. But life is hard. Life is truly hard, and but it's I don't. It's so weird, man. I mean, I know you understand what I'm saying, and it's kind of hard for me to spit it out. But
I
you know,
totally
they, these guys, these men and women, it's a struggle to adapt back to life. I guess is what I'm trying to say in a nutshell.
support. You're
And
you're you're on your highest defenses. You're constantly looking around. You're
hmm
you're watching everybody. Uh, you're everything is very strict and tight. Um, and then for a lot of folks, unfortunately, folks that they went through boot camp with and they became best friends with, and each of you always look forward to seeing each other. Um, you, you lose those folks,
yeah,
and that weighs heavy on you.
Can y'all
And
hear me now?
yeah,
Okay, okay. Sorry, I don't know what happened. I kind of lost everything. So,
are you
but
good?
go
Me and
ahead.
Cap's just me and Cap's just been talking.
Right, that's why I have you on. So,
Yeah, yeah, we just been talking.
yeah, it's very hard for folks, Pappy. I mean, um, and and like I said earlier, I got World War II vets that are 99, 98, and in their hundreds,
Yeah,
and they're still stressing. This
yeah,
past week, I had some Vietnam vets that I took out that it's unfortunately something, and folks need to know that it just doesn't leave. It doesn't leave. And for some, the things they've experienced haunt them. You
hmm
know, so it's a very hard transition. But that being said, I found this this little niche, this blessing. Um, of fishing, believe it or not. Um, it's unbelievable to get our veterans out where and you're going to be able to relate to this, where there's no horns, there's no loud, sounds, and just, while we're out there, I always say, hey, you hear that? And they go, what?
yeah, yeah.
you know,
Exactly. What?
and that's it.
Yeah.
The birds chirping, man, and the wind blowing through the trees and all. It's just
hmm
magical, you
Yeah.
know. Um, and it just really brings our people, to a place where they kind of can work through some of these demons and find themselves.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely. And I do. I also do a lot of hunting as well, and through fishing and through hunting, I that's when I really kind of connect and release and just get back to where I guess life, it being out and doing stuff like that really helps. I mean, it truly helps. Not just veterans, it can help anybody with any kind of stuff that's going on. But man, our veterans, they've been through it, and it definitely works. So, on that being said, what is your best PB veteran that has, or I guess, what's been the PB on your boat or any of your boats from a vet?
It was a 9.8 largie on Lake Okeechobee.
Oh,
Um,
heck yeah.
I I entered two vets. They let me basically guide them. I didn't fish.
Mhm.
Uh, they fished, um, but we entered a tournament on Lake Okeechobee. It was a Bass Pro event, and Roland Martin actually was fishing in that event. And
Oh yeah,
for the longest time, that record stood in that event. It was the 9.8. Uh, it was by United States Marine, a tanker, and actually the one that broke it was Roland. Roland actually broke it, I think 3 or 4 years later.
really?
Yeah.
Dang.
I wonder how many times that sucker grew. Because you know, Neil, that he goes, oh, that was a 6, 7, 8 pounder.
Oh no,
It's,
they dropped that bad boy on the scale. Yeah, he still
Mm.
brought it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, uh,
We catch some big fish now, Pappy. You'd be shocked. I mean, we get out there. Last week we probably caught probably 40 largies and anywhere. Um, the glades are not where where they're at their top peak yet, but
Mhm.
probably caught three or four in the 5 pound range and quite a few fours and threes.
Oh wow. Now, have you seen a decline in the fishing with I'm assuming like I- I'm assuming they're still having an issue with all the pythons and stuff like that. Have
Um, yeah, we do have a python. We still have the pythons, but they're not eating. They're not affecting the fish. We,
Okay.
what's affecting our fisheries down here, unfortunately, and from what I understand, it's throughout the state United States is they're using chemicals to treat a lot of our vegetation, and
yeah,
Mhm.
I honestly believe that that's just taking its toll.
Yeah.
Um, you know, vegetation is a necessity in any body of water for the fry, for to filter the water, to create oxygen. Um, it's a necessity. And originally here in the state of Florida, they were supposed to target invasive grasses, but unfortunately, that's not the case.
yeah.
Mm.
Now, what about like the water levels and stuff like that? Have y'all been? Are y'all still having issues with water levels?
Yeah, we were in a drought, and still are. It's not as bad as it was. Uh, Within, I guess, the last 3 weeks, we've got quite a bit of rain, which has helped some. But the water levels were super low. I mean, it was crazy low.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
on the Lake Okeechobee, you know, it you had to shut down, a quarter mile off of the hard edge, and then idle in. And
Yeah. Really.
even then the prop guys are just having parties right now.
Oh, I imagine. I imagine. And that's and that's sad to say. I mean, the the water issue's one thing, but then when you tack on top of the spraying and stuff like that of the vegetation, I mean it. I mean it's a double whammy,
Mm.
and which we're fortunate enough that we don't have to worry about like the drought wise, as in the water level. I mean because we the water's finally starting to go up to what they call a summer pool here on the Tennessee River, and um, but I mean, we do have to worry about like them spraying, in which we understand. Like TWRA, the past 2 years have contracted out the spraying to a private company, and they'll go out and, like, let's say they say, well, it's going to take us 100,000 gallons to spray Chickamauga. Well, if they get done and they don't have any more, like, really anything else to spray on the main river channels, and that's what's all they're spraying is the main river channels, and they get done at 75, 80,000 gallons. Well, that other 20, 25 gallons, they're still dropping into Chickamauga, and because they want that budget for next year to be able to stay at 100,000, whatever. I'm not. I'm just saying, whatever their number is, they're
That's
wanting it to stay.
Yeah, that is the problem.
Yeah,
They're contracted to use a certain amount of product,
yep.
and regardless of whether it takes that to get the job done or not, it's
They're
no
using. Yeah,
from a guy painting your house. He tells you, hey, you need 10 gallons, and he painted it in five. Somewhere 5 gallons is going. It's
Hmm.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
it ain't on your house, but it's going somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, see, but then like our main issues up here, Neil, is not really like the TWRA with the main river channels. That is an issue, but we understand it's navigable body water, and so they've got to make sure that the barges and everything can get through, which so that's understandable. But our main issue is like in the back of these sloughs and in these pockets, so where the homeowners that have um, lakefront property think that they have the right to privately contract somebody out and come into their pocket or slough and spray in the back of there. And what they don't realize is whatever they dump into that pocket or slough, it's going to, I mean, the current's going right into the main river channel. So that's being thrown on top of whatever TWRA is having contracted out.
That's
And
crazy.
it's just, and it's not, I mean, what's going to happen is we're going to have no place for these bait fish to go.
Yeah.
And
That's
Okeechobee, I think Okeechobee's probably been the biggest factor that everybody knows the lake and knows the like how much grass and stuff used to be on Okeechobee. And when you see Okeechobee now, and it's really sparse. So I think that, I mean, that's one lake that people can understand with, especially if they've been out on Okeechobee.
Yeah, I just saw. I think it was Wheeler. Or I don't remember who it was, but they were talking about the weights. in all the tournaments, and
Yeah.
how how they've dropped. I mean, it's here in South Florida, Lake Okeechobee. I mean that was one of the premier lakes for the FLW and uh, to visit. I mean, and you would
Right.
I remember back in the days. Uh, there were 14 pounders caught and 12 pounders and 10 pounders and now if you get a 10, that's an amazing, well, it always
Yeah.
been amazing, but size fish. But
Well, it's more of a feat now to catch that. I mean, but and one thing I don't understand is look at Gunnersville. Gunnersville's known to have all the grass and stuff like that,
uh,
and Gunnersville is one of the top bass lakes in the United States right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I don't want to say that they do not spray because I don't know if they spray. I know that I had seen a video here last year to where they had that machine that or like a boat that goes over the flats and pulls it up.
natural
Uh,
art, that's what they
yeah,
need to start doing.
and so that's what I mean, that's what they done on Gunnersville. But I mean, I think they need to look and see what Texas is doing in their fisheries because I mean, Texas is becoming one of the states that I mean, that people want to go to because it is maintaining the bigger fish right now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they're Florida string bass.
Right?
Unfortunately, if you look at the Florida string bass, whether it's Texas, California, and even Japan. Look at Japan. Japan's grown Florida strain largemouth into the upper 20s. It's a
Wow.
shame that our the folks that run our fisheries don't do a better job at managing uh,
Yeah,
our
that's
fishery.
crazy.
It, it
Well,
it would be crazy if they did.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and Jerry Brusso said 9 years ago, spray budget was under 2 million. Last year it was 41 million, and I'd say that's just in Florida, if I'm correct. Wouldn't that what you would think, Neil?
That I don't know, but I
Yeah,
can tell you this: I live in Davie, Florida, and my backyard faces a preserve, and in between my backyard and the preserve, there's a little pond. It's probably maybe an 8 acre pond, and they come in there and nuke that. So, it's unbelievable what's happened here in South Florida. Every, you see those spray boats spraying, which is, what you were saying earlier. They're just spraying water,
oh
and
yeah,
then
they don't.
yeah, it's crazy. And there's days, there's a 30 knot wind and they're spraying. So if you're trying to spray, I mean, think of I'll go back to the analogy of spraying, spraying your house uh, with paint. Can you imagine in a
And
30
30-mile-an-hour wind.
you and
No.
you
Yeah.
and your neighbor would have the same color house,
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, it's just crazy, and to think like that people they care. It's almost like they care more about themselves and stuff like that, and how to be able to spend money than trying to think of. Well, we want these fisheries. I mean, our whole lives we were told to preserve the fisheries for the future people to fish. If it's
Hmm.
grandkids, kids, grandkids, great grandkids, and and it seems like we've kind of hit that wall to where people's like, I don't care, I mean, um, and I don't understand. Like down in Florida, the reason. I mean, up here, people can get in the water and swim around, but down there, when you have 10, 12 foot gators around you, I don't know why somebody'd want to swim in a body of water. So, I mean, why not, why just not leave it alone and just let nature have its way? And, I mean, everything's going to reproduce in itself, and you're going to be able to have, I mean, people come to Florida to go and fish, and that is a big moneymaker for down in Florida. And if they're taking that away from it, then you're going to see, with you being a guide and stuff, you're going to see the impact in it. And I mean, it's almost like, well, we want our backyard to look like it's just a clean body of water is all they care
Yeah.
about.
Yeah.
Yep. Uh,
And
Unfortunately, until all the fishermen come together, Florida used to be it is one of the fishing capitals of the world.
yeah,
And
Mm.
between licensing and revenue from tackle and boats and boat registrations and trailer registrations, until people that pay all that money start being heard, and get after the politicians, it's something that's going to continue to happen.
yeah. Now, um, and what's sad is for the longest time, like Okeechobee was considered the best bass fishing lake in the United States,
Hmm.
if not in the world. But now, I mean, Okeechobee has dropped. I mean, Florida still has what Escapogas is has now moved up on the list in the top 10. And then I think what was it? The Harris Chains or something like that has popped up as one of the top bass fishing destinations. And but it's sad to see the iconic Okeechobee not be to hold its place just because of all the stuff that's going on and with the spraying, and which we we're good friends with the traveling fisherman, and like his wife is a traveling nurse, and so during the wintertime they come down to Florida, and that's their home base. And I was talking to him, and the one of the ponds and stuff that he would go and fish, I mean, it is practically no more worth of like to even fish in it because everything has been sprayed and killed in that little body of water.
That's so sad.
But listen, Okeechobee's definitely taken a hit, but make no
Yeah,
mistake, man, you can still go into Okeechobee and get your arm broke. I mean, they're still catching, it's still taking 30 plus pounds to win in Okeechobee. Um, you just uh, you just don't see the giant fish. Um, to, but it is coming back. They've cut back on spraying Okeechobee, and they planted. There's you see a lot of grass, new grass popping up, and they've even done some grass planting on Okeechobee. Um, and here in the Everglades, they're doing this huge Everglades restoration. I'm waiting to see how that all plays out, but um, hopefully things have put in place to correct some of the issues. But Okeechobee definitely could still shine. I mean, it's not a dead lake by no means. It's
right,
still, you still could go out there and on any given day and pass that 30-pound uh,
right.
margin in the tournament. I mean, it's still got some giants in there swimming around.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I guess I wasn't trying to say that that couldn't happen. I guess my thing was it's more of a gripe fest of they. they took the top lake in the world to go and catch some big bass
Yeah,
and turned it into to something that I mean now you're having to go. It is a struggle now. I mean to be able to find them and I think it was Jerry that was telling me that like how you're starting to be able to. I mean like you people would used to be like you'd see them in like in the grass and stuff, and now people are starting to move off, and it's more of a forward facing sonar deal that they're trying to utilize on Okeechobee, and I mean, and nobody would have ever really thought of that really happening on Okeechobee, in my opinion.
yeah. They're some of the guys are getting them more into creeks and stuff, but
Yeah,
it's kind of crazy. It's I have marks on my GPS um, where so from where I'm fishing now. I noticed this a couple of weeks ago, and I was looking on my GPS, and I was fishing what is now the new hard line, and
right.
I was looking at marks on my GPS that are way the frick out, which now looks like it's in the middle of the lake almost. And I have, you know, fish to reeds, bedding bass, and you look out there and there's nothing there. And I was curious the other day, and so I idled out to where one of those marks were, and it was a mile and a half
Oh wow.
Ah,
from where the new hard edge to give you an idea of how much uh, vegetation was destroyed by the spraying in some areas. Uh, where,
golly.
where the new hard line is now, meaning you know, excuse me, a hard reed line.
Mm-hmm.
The old line was a mile and a half out into the lake.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
Mm.
yeah, it is. It is.
So, I want to talk a little bit about your guiding and stuff like that. Because I've been fortunate enough to hop in the boat with you a time or two, and it's always been a blast. And you've always had put us on some good fish. So how if somebody's wanting to come down to Southern Florida, fish Holiday Park, or down in the Everglades and the canals and stuff like that, how can people get a hold of you, Neil?
Um, I mean, the best way is give me a call. You know, uh, my phone number is 954-822-1481. That's the best way. You could also, aeguideinc at gmail.com. Uh, Look me up. I'd love to take you.
Yeah, and what we'll do, guys, is we'll put in the description. We'll put his contact information in the description, so you can just easily just click in on it as soon as we get done. But what? How long have you been guiding?
Uh, Good Lord. Probably, in that 20 plus year range.
Right.
Uh, yeah, I wasn't always a bass fisherman. I used to guide offshore. I did that for many, many years. And then I was an inshore guide uh, in the flats of Florida Bay, Flamingo, and Chuscalusky. I did that whole deal. And one day I love to explore, man. That's definitely something I really enjoy doing. And I kept pushing back into the 10,000 islands. And I would get so far back into the Everglades. I would start off in the salt water and then move in the brackish and then keep pushing back until where I could actually catch bass, snook, redfish, and tarpon all in the same little area. And then every now and then I would push back a little further to see how far it went back. And, and it's solely turned into bass fishing. And I do love live baiting, but my favorite thing is casting. I love
Right.
to put on some artificials and try to trick fish into eating. And
Yeah.
and so that's where I reside now is in fresh water. I absolutely love it, and I've been doing that for quite a while. Um,
Yeah.
but if I could, as well as folks reaching out to me for hire, if you're a wounded vet, or if you're a vet and you feel that Fishing with America's Finest could benefit you, if we could, I'd love to put that information up as well. Feel
Yeah.
free to reach out to us. Um, if you are a veteran and you'd like to take advantage of the program, everything is covered for you from A to Z. Your lunch, your drinks, all your tackle, everything you would need to have a great time. All you need to do is make it down here to South Florida.
Yeah. And we're working on something as Deck Talk podcast, and we're going to actually have, when we get it all figured out and the dates and everything. Uh, Captain Neal is going to come up to Chattanooga and kind of help us out with that as well, because we're wanting to be able to do the same thing, and we're just going to kind of let him do his thing on it to be
Mm-hmm.
able to help out. So, but we do strongly suggest though again, if you are a veteran, to reach out to him, and I tell you, Neal, the smiles on the faces of the people, like when you post pictures and stuff, I mean, you can tell, like, the weight of the world is lifted off of their shoulders when they're out on that boat. And that's one thing that, and I don't know if, when I was having technical issues, if you had talked about and stuff like that, but I that's one thing that I really love about what you do and stuff like that, is, and with the pictures and the seeing them catch the fish, the videos, that you know that day being out on the water, you can just tell that, again, the weight of the world is lifted off their shoulders. They're not thinking about whatever's going through their mind, and not serving or not being a veteran or anything like that. We don't know what's going through their mind. And what you do to go to help towards, like, keeping that number 22 down is very commendable. So thank you, Neal, for that. It is amazing, brother.
Yeah.
Thanks. It's an honor and a blessing to be able to do that. I definitely feel I was gifted um, with that chore, man.
Yeah.
I absolutely love it, and uh, I can tell you, so do our vets. I mean, it's
Yeah.
it's been an amazing ride, and I I've made so many amazing friends through Fishing with America's Finest. As you can imagine, getting folks out there and putting them on their PBs and um, uh, just catching a boatload of fish, you become friends real quick.
Oh, I
And
can imagine.
yeah, and the beauty of the program is, and it's something that I never even thought about when I decided to do this. Is for a lot of our vets, both male and female, going out, it's their very first time ever fishing. Um,
Really?
Oh, wow.
some some you're rekindling, what they used to do with their dad or their grandpa. But for a lot of vets, they've never been fishing. And what's really cool about it is because, uh, they're learning and techniques and experiencing fishing at such a unique level. It's something that they get to take with them. So for so many, I would say probably, uh, and we try to do analytics on it, and it's way up there. It's in the 6%. Uh, the vets that come through the program that have never fished before become fisher men and women. It's unbelievable, and
That's amazing.
it is. It's unreal. And what's
Yeah.
really cool is now they're able to go and they say, "Hey, honey, grab the kids. Come on. I got this cool thing we could do now." And they're fishing, and I'm always getting pictures of the fish they caught, and hey, I did this and did that, and and we do get vets from all over the United States. I've had
Right.
vets come from Wisconsin and come down here to defrost and stuff, and from all over the place. And so they go back home, and even from Tennessee, and
Yeah.
say, "Hey, I'm on this body of water," and they'll FaceTime me and show me around. What do you think? What do you think I should do here? And what you know? So it's a really cool thing. Not only uh, does the therapy work when they're coming through the program, but it's working after, and that's a really
That's
cool,
huge. That
yeah,
is huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
cool and unique thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, for myself, as a fisherman, I'm not a veteran. I've always used fishing as a way to kind of de-stress. Whenever
Mhm.
I'd get stressed out, have a bad week at work, or things wasn't going great, man, I'd jump in that boat, go wet a line, and it always put me at ease. And that was one of the premises, and wondering if it would work on our American heroes, and it has.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That is awesome.
it is it is something to say. I mean, to one, you think that it's maybe just for that one day, but then what you're saying, just and getting those phone calls or text messages or pictures to where they're taking the experience and stuff that they've learned from you and being able to put it into play back at home and to be able to get out on that water to still, I mean, because that water therapy, it don't matter where you're at, that water therapy does wonders. And so it that is amazing. So
Yeah.
now I do have a question. Let's say a family comes down to South Florida,
I'm all,
um, and they're not in too big into fishing. Do you do like little cruises or tours and stuff like that? Do you do that as well?
absolutely, absolutely. Um, So, two things with that question. One, if you're a vet and you'd like to set up a trip for yourself and you'd like your family to come, uh, they're welcome. We have uh, we have two big pontoon boats. Let me see if you can see that. We have two big pontoon boats. Let me see. There you go.
Yeah,
That are all rigged up, power poles and trolling motors and live wells and electronics set up just like your favorite bass boat is. And you're welcome to bring your family. Um, you can set up a trip for yourself and some of your fellow veterans, a little group if you'd like. And if you'd like to just do a tour of the Everglades, we can do that too. And I do that all the time anyway. I mean, I incorporate that into our trips. I talk about the vegetation and I point out all the different wildlife, and we talk about that. And um, you know, I just on Instagram, on FWAF Instagram, I just did a little video on the plant life and how different plants can heal, and then I talk about how the Everglades does just that. If I could, I'll show you. You can see the pontoon boat. Let me see there. There you go.
Yeah,
It's also regardless there's of any regardless of what you might need to go fishing, we can accommodate you.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that's important too because I know a lot of the veterans and stuff uh, may may be in a wheelchair or something like that, and it's amazing how far y'all have gone to be able to accommodate everybody, to be able to, if you want the opportunity to be able to go out, y'all have figured out how to be able to get them out on the water.
You, let me show you something really cool. You see this fellow right here?
Yes, sir.
Here, there you go. So that's a really cool story. Look at that, Largy. So
Hey,
Yeah.
this fella reaches out to me. He's a United States veteran, United States Army, and he tells me, "Hey, Captain Neal, uh, I've been having a hard time, and I got a lot of medical issues going, and um, on my bucket list is I want to catch a big largemouth bass. And could you help me do that?" And I tell him, "Well, listen, it's fishing. We can give it a hell of a try. You let's do it." And he
yeah.
said, "Well, before you promise me anything, I probably should tell you something." I said, "Well, what's that?" He said, "Well, I'm blind." And
Oh wow.
I told him, "Well, listen, obviously I'm gonna have to cast for you, but I said, hey, you got a pencil?" And he said, "A pencil?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Neil, I I I don't know if you heard me, sir. I told you I'm blind." I said, "Well, sir, can you scratch?" He said, "Scratch?" I said, "Yeah. Can you go back and forth on a piece of paper with a pencil and scratch?" He said, "Yeah, why?" I said, "Because we're going to scratch that off your bucket list."
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Man,
Yeah.
like, look at this thing, man. Let me find where you at. Look at that bad boy. On like my fifth cast, I cast out and hand them the rod, and I tell them just real slow, and you hear just it sounded like someone dropped a center block out of an airplane, man. I kid you not. I definitely had a little help on that one though. Uh, I think the good Lord was with us on that one. And
Yeah.
this beast, this beast blows his top water lure up. And he said, "Well, what's that? What's that?" And it was the coolest thing because I've never had to do that before, but I had to be his eyes. And he
Yeah.
said,
Right.
"What's that?" And I said, "Well, I believe that's your bucket list, partner." And he said, "Well, what's it doing? What's it doing?" I said, "Man, just keep reeling, keep reeling." And then you'd hear a couple of splashes, and he said, "What's that?" I said, "Man, that thing just came out of the water." I said, "That is definitely your bucket list." And
Yep.
he kept reeling and reeling. Is it in? Is it in? I said, "No, just keep reeling. It's almost to the net." And we got it in the net, and there you see he's holding her up, man. And um,
Man.
that's
And,
just that's just one of thousands of cool
yeah.
memories.
But that smile says it all though.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And so it is amazing again what you do. And I mean to and it takes somebody special. Look at that peacock right there.
Yes, sir.
that's Tony.
To
That's the 105-year-old veteran I was telling you about.
Man, that is
oh
crazy.
man.
Storm Normandy Beach.
Oh my. Oh my. I bet the stories you got out of him was unfathomable. I mean, just remarkable.
Honestly, all the stories are pretty unique and special.
Well, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Everybody's got a really cool story, and you know, my favorite story is when they start doing normal things and I start getting fishing pictures. That
Mm,
that's my favorite thing.
Yeah.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
we've
Yeah,
had you on for an hour, brother,
Already.
and already.
that's it.
And but I just want to know one thing. Are you and Jake gonna take care of the Kings of the Glade series this year? I mean, y'all been putting it to it,
Uh, yes and no, man. It's we in the beginning of the year. As you can imagine, being down here in South Florida, we typically don't do real good in the cold, man. That first tournament in January when it's in the 20s, um, we typically struggle. And
yeah,
this year we did good. We did a little
yeah.
bit better, and we've been doing good. This last tournament was last weekend, I think it was. Um, we started off real strong, and then Jake's live wells went south, and we had by 10 o'clock we had 18 and a half pounds, and his live wells died, and so
Ah,
did the majority of our bag. And I don't, as you know, the rules, once your fish uh, pass, you can't call them out. So that was the end
yeah.
of that tournament, and uh, I believe we're in the top 13 right now. We got one more to go, heading into the classic before the classic, and we're going to give it hell. I can tell you that.
I hear you. Now is and guys, if you don't know, Jake is his boy, and he is one heck of a stick himself. Um, and if I remember correctly, like he's won like junior tournaments and he's won casting tournaments and stuff like that. And then now is he still guiding, doing the tarpon guiding?
Jake does some really unique stuff on the Florida Bay, on the our bays. He
Right.
does snook and tarpon and some really huge tarpon. He's a unique angler in that salt water, but um, he does real good in the freshwater too. Jake was one of the youngest anglers. He won. Uh, for years, he won the Southern Division, and then his last year fishing, he fished the Northern and Southern Division, won Angler of the Year in both, and then won both classics. And
Mm.
and then he retired. He was the youngest angler ever to be picked up by Daiwa.
Wow.
Wow. I think he got picked up when he was 14 years old.
Oh wow.
And, he was, you know, some of his friends were, Brett Height. Brett Height taught him, which he uses down here, which is unbelievable. The drop shot. Not too many fellows drop shot in South Florida. Uh,
Yeah.
um, he he dropped shots and my guy Canelli, and he made some really good friends and absorbed a lot of knowledge from them guys.
Yeah.
That's good.
So before we let you go, can you tell us some of the sponsors if for that you have for Fishing with America's Finest?
Sure, I'd love to. Lose, Power Pole, Wiley X, Gambler Lures, uh, Bass Pro Shops is one of our big ones. We love Bass Pro. Um, Good Lord, now you got me in the spot. I can't.
Sorry, I just wanted to be able to give you an opportunity.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Right now, I can't leave any out. You're gonna get me in trouble. Uh, Jeez. So let me just give you a quick synopsis of what's going on down here. Uh, Bass, yeah. For our pontoon boats, Yamaha, uh, one of our favorite hard baits, Livingston lures, is a huge one. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh, uh, the technology, uh, EBS technology, the bait's working even when your lure's not. Uh,
Right.
and all of the attire that we wear in our volunteers um, is hook and tackle fishing gear. Um, we suggest y'all check those out. And then um, King of the Glades, which is really a cool one, is all of the anglers. Mike Lindell, who's the tournament director of King of the Glades, every year uh, from selling the King of the Glades shirts, and he donates money to help with the vets, and he also uh, helps with real fishing for kids.
Right.
Uh, so that's amazing that all the guys chip in to do that. Um, and if I could, real quick, I just want to touch on the Everglades, what's going on. Um, we're in April now. Fishing is really starting to heat up. We still got some fish on beds, and we definitely gone through some our some post spawn fish swimming around, feeding up. Uh, Plenty of 4 to 5 plus pounders. Um, Next month, May, uh, June, July, you come down here to South Florida and you will get your arm broke. I mean, I promise you this: when at the end of the day, when you're done fishing, and I don't care what kind of shape you're in, your arm's gonna be sore. Uh,
That's what I like to hear.
Yes, sir.
I'm talking, it,
Yeah.
it's fish under 5 pounds are few and far between. It's 5 plus pounds, man. It just goes off.
Heck yeah.
It just goes off. And the peacock bass fishing is our peacock did get banged up with some of our cold fronts that we came in, but which is really cool and kind of unique is that it kind of killed off a lot of the smaller peacocks. So you don't catch as many peacocks, but the ones that you do now are really some hogs. 4, 5,
Yeah.
6 pound piece.
Heck yeah.
Yep.
And and the thing is, in which I've said this multiple times, if you have not caught a peacock, that is needs to be a bucket list fish to go and catch. By far, for me, it is the best freshwater fighting fish that I have ever caught, and and how vicious, uh, especially like when you're throwing a top water, like you know, Captain Neal said earlier, it's like it sounds like somebody's just throwing a cinder block or dropping a cinder block from an airplane. I mean, it is vicious. You better just hold on and just get ready because it is phenomenal. You're going to love it. Um, they that it is something else, especially if you can get them on that top water bite. It is something else, and we got to get Pappy down there, and so we'll stay in touch with you, and maybe we can set something up for while we're down there after ICAST.
Yeah.
Sounds great. Just
So
one more thing, guys. If once again, not to reiterate, but if you're a U.S. veteran, you'd like to get down here to South Florida, take advantage of the Fish with America's Finest program. Everything from A to Z is covered for you, other than your flight and your place to stay, uh, your fishing gear, license exempt when you head out with us, your lunch, your drinks, all your tackle, everything you'll need for an amazing day in the Florida Everglades is covered for you. Just reach out fwaf.net and we'll hook you up with your own customized trip You can bring a group of your veteran friends, or if you'd like to head out with your family, we'd love to take you.
Awesome.
Heck yeah.
Awesome.
So, but Captain Neal, man, it's always an honor to be able to talk to you and just the knowledge that you have. Not just down in South Florida, but I mean just fishing in general. And I enjoy talking to you. We got to get you up here to Chattanooga to get on some of these smallies, though.
I want
Hmm.
And
trust me. That's
and
all.
so and it's funny to where like we don't think nothing about small mouse and stuff like that because they're right here. Just probably like how you don't think much about the peacocks because they're right there in your backyard. And but yeah, we'll get you to come up here sometime soon because it's about to take off.
Here's some of them big snakes out there running around, guys.
Mm.
Pappy wants one of them.
No, I don't either. Pappy don't either. Pappy don't play with them things.
Yeah,
Pappy will
So
shoot it.
I
I
gotta
told
I gotta tell you, I have folks that want to do that where they put their hand in the water and revitalize the fish, kind of thing. I tell them, well, you know that, Colin. I
yeah.
tell them, yeah, you don't want to be doing that here in South Florida.
Mm-mm. Nah.
No.
Well, like I'll say this: we one of the trips that we went out, we were in the canals, and what about 90% of the day we had a 10, 11 footer right there about the side of the boat, and and so I was like, and I had said something to Captain Neal about it. I said, so there's just this. We're only seeing this one, and he says that's just the one that you see. He was like, there. He says if there's one, there's multiple, and we did ended up. I mean, we seen quite a few of them, especially going back to where we were at in the canals. But I know that one trip that we were on it come a gully washer on us, and we had to go hide up underneath the I-75 bridge for what about an hour or so, and then it passed through. And Pappy, what surprised the crap out of me when we got up underneath that bridge, there was two kayakers in the Everglades, and I'm like, these guys are dumb. I mean, these gators that we were seeing, the one, especially the one that we seen 90% of the trip, was longer than the daggum kayaks that these guys are fishing in. And I'm like, and they're only like what, maybe 3, 4 inches off of the water. And I'm like, no, I told Captain Neal, I said that's not for me.
No.
And so,
You'd be
but
surprised though. Most of the times, the gators don't want to mess with you. The thing that makes the gators really dangerous is folks, want to feed them.
yeah,
They'll catch a brim or an invasive, and they'll pitch it to the gator. And once the gator relates food, not just people being food, but food with people,
Mm.
yeah,
become a very dangerous alligator. And
Yeah.
yeah,
but other than that, they mostly won't mess with you. If they got little ones around and you get too close, then you're in some trouble. But typically, they won't mess with you. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
just a big water lizard.
yeah. Well,
That'll bite you.
hey, yeah.
Uh,
Well, and the thing is, Pappy, when the first time like we had went out and I had seen the first gator that I seen, I was like, God, and I was wanting to take pictures of the thing, and and so I was at the front of the boat, and Captain Neal was in the back of the boat, and he was just kind of telling us like how to go and what's going to be the best throw and stuff, how we wanted to approach the next little bend or whatever we were at, and and we had caught a couple of peacocks, and then you see like this, the gator just comes up right up close, but I'm telling you, when you see a gator come up and put its head up on the gunnel, that's true for a Tennessee boy. That is something scary.
Yeah,
and
not
so,
good.
and uh, I told Neil, I was like, I said, I was expecting you to start pulling that little pew pew out and just start meleeing on this thing. And he said, "Nah, he wasn't far enough in the boat." He said if he got a little farther up in the boat, we would have took care of him. But I'm telling. I don't know, Pappy, how much farther he had to get to where that pew pew came out, but that whole head was sitting up on top of that gunnel. That was far enough for me.
Yeah.
I've had vets that special ops guys and SEALs and Marines, and I've had them about start running on the boat, and I go, "Where are you going?" And you keep running, you're gonna run out of boat, and they go, it's coming in the boat. I said, "No, it ain't coming in the boat. It's just messing with us."
Yeah. So, but
They they get close.
yeah, they
Uh,
they do, and it's amazing. Like
mm-mm.
how, you don't realize like how like a 10-foot gator, like how massive them things are.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So now, now do they still do like the I guess it's like a hunting trip for the iguanas where they go through the
Yep.
canals and
Yep.
I told Pappy about it and I was like, man, that's something that I would like to do. I said I'll go do the iguanas and he can go do the pythons. And he said,
Yeah. Negative.
"Oh,
Negative. That ain't happening.
There's time of year here you can, well, the iguana hunting you could do year round, but you could also get with somebody and set up an alligator hunt as well. And if you're a local, they have where you get in this little lottery type of deal, and you can go out gator hunting.
Yeah.
man,
But the
I
gator hunting's most only at night.
yeah." Well, see, I tell you, and I tell Shaw Grisby all the time. I was like, I just want to go with him when he does all his nuisance gators. When he goes picks them up, I was like, I just want to go and just experience it. And I told him, I said, I don't even have to hold the rod or the line. I just want to be in the boat with all the excitement going on.
Yeah.
And he says, we'll get you to real one, and I was like, nah.
Mm.
You'd be surprised how strong the alligators are and how resilient. Even after they've been shot, or it's unbelievable. They're super strong animals. The,
Yeah.
uh, the only way to really truly take the gator out is right behind his head. Uh, you need to sever his spinal cord, and even if one little thread of the spinal cord touches, that dude can move. I've
Mm.
Really?
I've they'll tie their legs up behind them and stuff, and they'll be dead on the deck, and they'll start moving. You'll see guys wanting to jump off the boat. Yeah,
Right.
you got to make sure they're good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we're going to wrap things up.
All right.
And Captain Neal, man, we appreciate you, brother. We need to make sure we don't wait as long as what we did from this last time to now to get you to back on here. Because again, we really enjoy talking to you and just hearing the stories is phenomenal. And we're definitely going to try to hook up with you after ICAST and maybe get Pappy a python. And
Yeah.
so,
Negative. Peacock. Yeah. Python. No.
oh,
Wrong
wrong
P.
P,
It's
wrong
the
P.
wrong P. Yeah. Or they might be doing a lot of peeing on the other end.
Right. But so guys, next week we're going to go from Florida, South Florida to an Alabama angler that took the collegiate by storm. And we are going to have Tucker Smith on. And guys, if you do not know who Tucker Smith is, look him up. And one heck of a fisherman, young fisherman, and but he took the collegiate, and I think he won it 3 years in a row as a collegiate angler. And now he's fishing with the Bassmasters Elites, and so we're going to have him come on and talk about the classic and his first season as an elite angler. So, but guys, we thank you so much. And if you are a veteran, make sure that you and if you want us to recognize you with a salute to valor, email Pappy at Josh Vaughn at decktalkpodcast.com, and he will get the information from you that he needs, and then we will we've got a coin that we had made, and we will send you a coin for that as well. But Pappy, we got one last question. You want to take it away, brother?
Yes, sir. Captain Neal, it's been a privilege and an honor. Listen, just convoing and man, I really appreciate what you do for our veterans. It speaks volumes. But with that being said, if there was one person that you could get back on the boat with now or in the past, who would it be and why?
Hmm, that's a great question. Uh, Good Lord.
I
Uh,
can't remember who you said last time.
this, a veteran?
Either
Either
it could
one,
be anybody.
anybody.
Anybody. Um, hmm, that's trying to think. Gosh, I get everybody I love to fish with on my boat all the time. Uh, I, I mean, I've never fished with them. Does it have to be someone I fished with?
Nope,
Mm-mm.
it could be anybody.
Well, I think I'd like to fish with Mike Iaconelli. I'd like to put him on a big fish and watch him break dance on my boat.
I,
Oh, yeah,
I'll
that'd
tell
be
you
great.
this: that would be something phenomenal. For the fact, when the last time that we had him on, Neil, he we asked him if there was a lake that had his number, and he said it ain't a lake; it's a state. He said the state of Florida has his number, so that would be something cool to be able to see. You put him on a big fish down in Florida. Maybe it
Yeah.
changes mind.
It is a tough place to fish, man. It's Florida can humble you real quick. Let me tell you, I've uh, I've been on. I've pulled in areas before where you could just look around and just drool. I mean, 10 pounder, 8 pounder, 7 pounder on beds, and watched it all week to see if anybody found that area coming up to a tournament. No one ever went in there. Went in there on tournament day, and all that was left were the little teeny bucks.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. So, John Pate said he's checking in. What's up, John? Good to see you on here, brother. And hope that you are doing well. So, but Captain Neal, again, we thank you.
Pleasure
And guys, we
meeting and talking with you. You too, Colin.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
we are going. Well, we're going to put in the description all the information if you want to take a guide trip out with Captain Neal. We'll put his information down, and we will put the Fishing with America's Finest information. If you are a veteran, we will put that information down in the description as well. Because it is a trip of a lifetime that you're going to experience. Um, and we we again we want to thank our veterans. We could not be doing this if it wasn't for you guys, and so thank you, and thank you, Neil.
Yep.
Um, and I look forward to seeing you here in a couple of months, brother.
Yeah, me too, my friend.
So,
Always.
so guys, again, next week we got Tucker Smith, and we're gonna go. I got to get things tied up. I'm heading out on the water tomorrow, and hopefully going to be able to yank on some Chickamauga finest. And so I, I need to have a shirt that says "Fat Girls Only." So we,
Yeah.
so we, but other than that, guys, thank you again, and we will see you next week.
God bless everybody.